There's a global statistic that says only 10% of all training hits the workplace. That's a hell of a waste of time, effort, and money worldwide, if you come to think about it. And I'm going to try and show you why I think that's the case. One of the things is people come back from training, and Roger's my boss, and I get back and he says, "Lauren, how was the training?" I say, "Good." He says, "Good." And we carry on with the rest of our day. But what would it take? What would happen if we spent a little bit more time in that moment? If we happened to say, "Lauren, how was the training?" "Oh, good, good." What is the most important thing that you can bring back? What's the biggest kicker that you can bring back into the workplace? How do you think you can do that? Do you need some help around that? Okay, so what are you going to try this week to put it in place? Shall we meet next week and see how it's going? Would that make a difference? Would that push the 10% up? I think so. There's another point. A couple of years ago, I was reading in a South African rugby magazine called SA Rugby, an article on Johnny Wilkinson. And the journalist was meeting him at Newcastle Rugby Club on Christmas Day, Christmas lunchtime, in fact. When he got there, Johnny didn't have a beer in his hand. In fact, he was in his kit, and in fact, he had been practicing for 2 or 3 hours, Christmas Day. And at that moment, he was practicing from the halfway line. But he wasn't just practicing kicking the ball through the poles. Listen to this. He was trying to bounce it on the crossbar from the halfway line. Do you know how many he got? 6 out of 10. So that's how specific he got. There's another Johnny Wilkinson story. He needs a bit of resurrecting after his poor performance in this World Cup. But after the 2003 World Cup, where he beat Australia in the final, in extra time, where he turned and put over a right-footed drop when he's normally left-footed. At the press conference afterwards, he was asked, "Johnny, you hit that with your right foot. You think it was lucky?" And he looked at the guy and he said, "You know, I must have practiced that particular kick over 700 times. No, I don't think so." So if you think about it, what does not only he do, but a guy like Dan Carter? Now, I don't know, so I'm speculating here, and I'm just trying to paint a picture. I'm sure Dan Carter never goes and just kicks. He practices something specific. Today, he'll practice kicking the ball straight. Next day, he'll practice for hours just kicking the ball with a slight draw on it. The next day, with a fade. So he can bring those into play whenever he's kicking in a game. Ever noticed how they go differently? That's by design, as far as I know. It's not only the fancy pants in the back line that do these things. If you think about Ben Alexander, a couple of years ago, he's pretty good. Pardon? So he's useless. No, still very average. No, his scrumming's improved, certainly against the Springboks, okay? And it's not that he's got stronger, it's about technique. So he's practiced it. Practiced it. I'm not sure about these guys. I think they've probably been scrubbing each other since they were 2 or 3. But it still has taken practice, practice, practice. Okay? And then I thought you have to bear with me for a moment. I would find one other South African X-Factor player, Victor Matfield. And certainly, thank you, certainly the best line-out jumper South Africa's ever had. In 2003, I coached Rudolf Strali, the Springbok coach. He told me, he said, "You know, Victor Matfield, he doesn't think he's going to make it." And his reason was that he preferred to spend time in front of his laptop rather than doing the hard yards in the gym and that stuff. Now, I don't know if you've seen Victor Matfield, but I think he's got a brilliant physique. He's an athlete. But, most importantly, he has made line-out jumping, an incredible art. He has studied his opposition. He wins more ball on other people's thrown than anyone else. And then on his own, it's a given. Okay. So what do we learn from this part for business? The first thing is we need to be more specific. It has to be more than cool, cool. You come back from training. We have to go beyond learning. We have to go into a territory where we can apply it effectively. We need to be precise. You think about the teams, they talk about accuracy in their strategy. We need to be accurate. We're very vague in the business world. And then thirdly, it's about practice, practice, practice. We tend not to practice, practice, practice in the workplace. Just kind of do it once, didn't work. What would have happened if we did that the first time we tried to walk?